Well, good day, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Well, so yesterday was the 9th of February, and we had our February meeting of the Albuquerque Typewriter Society down at my friend Kevin's house, and we had a great turnout. One of the projects we did was message in a bottle, and this is basically what it resulted in. So Kevin was able to supply these neat little glass bottles and some wine bottle corks and some sealing wax. No, not the wax you put on your ceiling. This is wax for sealing up ostensibly letter envelopes, but we used it for sealing up the wine bottle corks. So we supplied various kinds of paper. I brought some parchment paper that was cut to the appropriate length, roughly 5 inches wide. And the project was for the members to write a letter to the future, either their future self or an unknown person in the future, a relative or friend or whatever, and then seal it up, roll up the letter, tie it with a ribbon, put it in the bottle, put the cork in, and then seal it with wax. And so we have a genuine message in a bottle that could be thrown into the ocean, the water, or whatever. Of course, here in New Mexico, we're almost 1,000 miles from the ocean. And so we could, theoretically, wait until spring runoff on the Rio Grande. Like last year, we had a record high runoff. So you could throw it in the Rio Grande in a few months and hope it gets past Elephant Butte Reservoir and down south toward the Texas-Mexico border, but it's probably going to end up just getting caught in the shrubs on the side of the riverbank and buried in the sand, or found and discarded as trash maybe, which raises another point. If you throw a message in a bottle into the river or into the ocean, are you polluting? Are you littering? I don't know. Anyways, but it is kind of a neat idea, right? Having a message written to the future. Of course, if you think about it, all messages are written into the future, since the future happens less than 1 second from now, right? But it was a fun project. Great meeting. So another thing that happened in that meeting was, you might have remembered a previous video. I talked about the idea of downsizing my typewriter collection. And so I brought a number of machines to the meeting with the hopes that I could spread the wealth to some of the other members. And so let's talk about that today, shall we? Stay tuned. Well, my friend Kevin said a couple weeks ago, he told me, "Joe, you're a collector of typewriter experiences." And I thought that was a great phrase, a great thought. And what we were talking about at the time, the context of the conversation was that there are classic typewriter collectors. These are people who collect typewriters as historical objects. And these people are not necessarily typewriter users. On the other hand, we have this new generation of typewriter enthusiasts who might have some historic interest in typewriters, but they're really interested in using them also. The typewriter as a functional tool, as well as perhaps some historic interest in them. And I really fall more in the latter category. I don't think I am a collector of typewriters just for the sake of having them in a nice glass cabinet to look at. To me, they've always been important to me as tools to use. I've never thought about typewriters as inanimate objects that you put behind a china cabinet and look at. Part of the reason is because I grew up in a house where my parents collected Carnival glass, Jim Beam bottles, Avon bottles. We had 13 antique china cabinets full of collectibles in our house when I grew up. I lived in a museum, essentially. So I really don't want that kind of a collection. I want a usable collection. It's like Jay Leno's garage, okay, but drive all the cars, use them all, right? That's kind of where I'm at. So I'm a collector of typewriter experiences, and that is the way Kevin put it, and I really like that. I can certainly appreciate collectors who collect typewriters for historic reasons, perhaps, but to me, they have to be functional, creative tools first. So let's go over a list of the machines that I've gifted to other people as of this last Sunday. So the Hermes 3000 so-called naked writer, I gifted that along with the original plastic shell to that machine. The Smith Corona Skywriter, a young fella really loved it, got it to him. The 1950s blue Smith Corona Electric, the 5 Series Electric. The Torpedo 18 went back to Kevin in much better shape than I got it. I had a recently acquired Smith Corona Silent Super. It went to the neighbor of one of our members. I was able to gift the Olivetti Underwood 21 to one of our members and the Webster XL747 to the neighbor of one of our members. And the Olympia SG3 went back to the member that I got it from earlier. And also, one of the other machines that I was able to gift to another person in our society was the Olympia SF. I like the Olympia SF. It was a nice, almost ultra-portable typewriter, but there was an older gentleman in our society who has like an Olympia Splendid 33, I think. It was kind of in rough shape, and he has used my SF before in past typewriter events. I knew he really liked it, and I was thinking, you know what? I probably won't get as much use out of it as he would. So I did gift that SF to him. And so that makes 9 typewriters that I was able to gift to other people on Sunday. That feels really good. What that leaves me with now in terms of the keepers. Now, I still have a few other machines I need to gift to other people, but as far as the keepers, the way I see it right now, so what you might call your standard portables, right? My Smith Corona Silent Super, this is the Beat typewriter. This is the one that started out in really dirty condition, and now it is a really outstanding typewriter. Clean, works great, has all fresh new rubber all around. It just gleams. That's probably going to be the main writing typewriter that might be on my desk, but it doesn't have to stay there because it's a semi-portable. And it's a great machine for stream of consciousness writing, which I discovered while I was actually going through the throes of fixing intermittent problems with it. It has an elite typeface, which is really great for me for first draft writing, because you can put a lot of words down on a sheet of paper and you don't have to do as many carriage returns, right? The line has more characters. Okay, the other one is the Royal Quiet Deluxe. This is Adobe Rose. She's a keeper. She's going to be another of these main kind of desktop semi-portable machines. She has a Pica typeface. I haven't experienced yet the same kind of stream of consciousness writing experience as I have with the Smith Corona Silent Super, but I hope to test her out and experience that for myself. And then the third of the standard portables is the Hermes 3000. This is the 1970s Hermes 3000, very much the same model as the Naked Writer. This is like the backup desktop writer. Has a very easy, nice feel, as you might know if you're familiar with Hermes 3000. So again, these 3 machines, the Silent Super, the Quiet Deluxe, and the Hermes 3000, these are standard portables or medium-sized portables. They can be moved and lugged around, but they're pretty much hang around the house kind of machines, right? Okay, then I see is the pretty to look at machines. These are the 1930 Underwood Portable and the 1936 Corona Standard. Both of these machines are entirely functional. The Underwood Portable I especially like the touch on, but because of their age and they don't necessarily type as easy as some of the other 3 that we mentioned earlier, I will use them, but they are pretty machines. They are kind of like decor. I will rotate them in and out perhaps, but they're pretty. So in this category of pretty to look at machines, not only do we have the Corona Standard and the Underwood Portable from 1930, but we have the Triumph Norm 6. This was a gift from one of my viewers. It is a wonderful machine. It has a great history. It is a German-Hungarian keyboard, beautiful typewriter, and it types wonderfully as well as looks absolutely glorious. So that is definitely a really not just a pretty typewriter. It is a really practical typewriter. It is a good, usable typewriter, and I find myself being able to easily switch the keyboard usage between the American style and the German style. I have no problem switching the Y and the Z around after a little bit of practice, so it's definitely a usable machine. Okay, then we have the ultra portables. And so in the ultra portable category, it really comes down to my Hermes Rocket. This is a 1953 Hermes Rocket. It's been serviced by Bill Wall of Mesa Typewriter Exchange over in Arizona. Small, lightweight. What can you say about a Hermes Rocket? It's a great machine. It is an obvious ultra portable carry around a town kind of typewriter. The other machine is the Royal Mercury. I've had two of these. This is the more recent acquisition, which is actually a year older than the other one I have, and this one is an exemplary shape. And I just love these Royal Mercuries because they may not have quite the touch of a Hermes Rocket, but they are extremely reliable and built really well. Then that comes down to electronic typewriter is my Nakajima-made Sears daisy wheel typewriter. I figured I needed one of those, and I like that machine, and it's in my collection. And then I have three thermal typewriters, the Brother EP20, the Brother EP43, and the Sharp PA1050. The EP20 is so small, there's no point in really getting rid of it, and it really is a nice little typer for note-taking and stuff like that. The EP43 I really love. It's a great machine. You may have seen the shootout video of all the thermal typewriters I did in one big video. You understand that. And then the Sharp PA1050, it has a lot of neat features, including a 4,000 character memory, so it kind of is more of a really working project writer's typewriter for thermal typing. And those three thermal typewriters, by the way, they're really good for literally coffee shop writing. Writing in public, they're almost dead silent. Okay, that's the beauty of them, even more so than an ultra-portable manual typewriter. So I still have now the Casio Writer thermal typewriter. I have the Canon TypeStar 5, and I have the Canon TypeStar 4. I kind of like the TypeStar 4, actually, the one that I have. It's a good machine. May keep it, but do I really need 4 thermal typewriters, right? I have another Nakajima made. It's an Olympia branded Nakajima, a daisy wheel electronic I need to gift somebody. And then I have a Smith Corona Coronet Automatic 12 electric typewriter and a Smith Corona Galaxy 12. Nothing wrong with the Galaxy 12. It's just I don't really need a 12-inch carriage machine. I'd rather have the 5 series. So it's a good machine for somebody else. Okay, there's one other machine we shouldn't forget, and that is the Remington Quiet Writer, the Seafoam Green Remington Quiet Writer. That is a wonderful machine. We took it on vacation to San Antonio about a year ago. That machine is going to my sister-in-law in San Diego. She's been wanting a typewriter, and I think that'll serve her great. And then the other typewriter that I am going to keep, and it truly is just a collectible. This is probably the exception in my collection. I'm really probably not going to use it that much at all, is the Roy, the little folding, ultra-thin, French-made, ultra-portable typewriter. My keepers will amount to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 manual machines, 1 daisy wheel electronic, and 3 thermal electronic machines. I think this decision to downsize my typewriter collection was a long time coming. For years, I've built up a sizable collection, more typewriters than I can use, most of them sitting in the closet, a few out in the garage. I'd open up the closet periodically. I'd see all these machines in there. I'd kind of sigh to myself, knowing that they were all good machines, workable machines, machines I rescued from a thrift store, antique store, maybe Craigslist, spent a lot of time working on them, cleaning them up, getting every little last nagging problem out of them if I could, even in some cases replacing the platen, getting the platen resurfaced and all that. And then they're highly functional machines, but they're sitting unused in the closet. Some of the machines didn't appeal to me as well as others. As my typewriter collecting progressed, I learned about other machines, and then I developed likes and dislikes, right? Some of them I just didn't like as much after a while. And so I thought it was a real waste after a period of time. It was a waste of the machine. They were sitting there. They could be used by someone else who really wants a typewriter. And they're taking up a lot of room in my life, in my house. And it's not really fair for my family that Joe's typewriter hobby is taking up all this clutter and space, and he's not even using a lot of these machines, right? So I thought it was, for multiple reasons, it was high time that I really sit down and think about which machines I really want now and which machines I would gift to someone else. There's a lot of people out there who really do want to experience the writing lifestyle with a typewriter, but they don't know where to start. They don't know what are good machines. They know nothing about typewriters. A lot of the people out there, they're not like us. They're not, to borrow a phrase from the Japanese culture, they're not a typewriter otaku. The otaku are highly focused into something. They're not like that. They don't want 50 machines. They don't want to go out and collect every typewriter they see. They just want one good machine to create with. There's a lot of people out there like that, and that's who I hope I can target the unneeded machines in my collection toward. And there are so many people that I see, that I meet these days, who are not into typewriters. They know virtually nothing about typewriters, but they want a typewriter. So these are people that are probably going to be like me. They are not interested in them as historic objects. They're interested in them as tools. Now, another question people might wonder about is, Joe, are you getting out of typewriters? You haven't posted as many typewriter videos lately. You're downsizing your collection, etc., etc. No, not really. I'm not getting out of typewriters. I love typewriters. I will be keeping typewriters in my life going forward. I'll have at least 10 to 12 machines as per the list that I put together of the keepers. Got plenty of typewriters in my life, and I'll probably be collecting more typewriters. I have a little room now, and I'll be much more focused on a few of those highly sought after ultra portables that I haven't had yet. And so not getting out of typewriters. I hope to continue using typewriters more and more in the future for creative expression, creative writing. So I think the advice I'd like to pass on to you folks is that I think typewriter collecting is a good thing. It is a good thing. There's a lot of good things about it. But like anything in life, you don't want it to control you. You want to be able to find the best out of it, but not go overboard with it. There is a value in learning about as many different brands and models and eras of typewriters as you can. Not just about the history of the machine, the controls and how they feel and how everything functions, but maybe even about how to repair them, how they work internally, right? There's a lot of value in that. But having said that, you can't really own them all necessarily. You may not be able to. You might want to, but you might find, for practical reasons in your life, you might find you just can't live with that many machines. You don't have to feel guilty about it. It's okay. It's natural. We just don't have that much room, a lot of us. So I think it's like you allow these machines into your life for a period of time. You derive blessing from them. You derive knowledge and experience. You improve the machine, and then you pass it on to someone else. You've gained so much, and someone else gets a better machine as the result of it. I think that's a great process, and I hope you guys appreciate that. I hope you experience that for yourselves. Typewriter collecting is great, but don't let the collection control you. Find the joy in the collecting and using typewriters, and then pass them on as much as you can so other people can discover them as well. In the local community here in Albuquerque, our fledgling Albuquerque Typewriter Society. This spring, we're going to be connecting with a New Mexico-based poetry group. And we're going to be trying to do a little Venn diagram overlapping of our two groups. We're going to try to get these poets to help us become better writers, and we're going to try to help the poets themselves discover the joy of using typewriters as tools for writing poetry. So there's a little bit of a hope cross-fertilization that will happen here this year between these two groups. And of course, I will share a lot of this with you guys as it happens, as it transpires. Well, this was a fun discussion. I enjoyed talking about typewriter collecting, what it means to me, what it means to pass on good machines to other people, and what it means to be able to discriminate from a larger collection of typewriters to a smaller collection that has probably higher meaning, higher value to me personally, and then gift the rest of them to other people that can really appreciate them. I think that whole process is cool. I think it's interesting to think about what machines interest me and what machines interest me less. It's interesting to think about how my likes and dislikes have changed over the last decade or so, and that's really fun. And I'm sure a lot of you veteran typewriter collectors have probably experienced the same thing, and it is fun. Look forward to more typewriter videos. Yes, the typewriter video series is ongoing, and look forward to that. We are going to be also finishing up this other series of Joe's pinhole cameras, so that'll be going on also. But anyways, typewriters are tools for creative expression. I hope you discover that in your life. Leave a comment down below if you will. What do you do with typewriters? How do they bless you as tools for creative expression? I'd really love to know what you do with your typewriters. And as always, stay creative. Have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye for now.